super excited to be doing this little chat today. I just hopped out of the shower and super excited to be having this chat. It's actually quite hot in here. And it's going to be too noisy if I open this. I'll get a bit of fresh air in here. Welcome, everyone. So those of you who... Hey, Chance! Hello. Those of you who are watching this catch-up, thanks for checking in. I'm very excited to have the amazing Ella on here today. We will just chat for days. So I'm just going to tell her, check that she's coming. And put everything else on silent and hope that no one calls me in the middle of this. Oh, yeah, she is. Yay. Hi, babes. Okay, there's a request. Husband's also here. Hi, babes. Welcome. Oh, wait. Hi, babe.
Hi.
How are
I am good. Oh, I came from being out and about in the hustle and bustle of the city, and I just had to freshen up before I joined so I didn't look like crazy. But I'm really happy to be here. How are you today?
I'm good. I came from the hustle and bustle of my own mind, I think. I was not yet so much in the outside world. I actually had what did I do? Well, this morning I taught a class and I had 2 private clients. And then I came home, but then the rest of the day it was all just like filming and recording and admin and so on. So like definitely feeling quite like up here. So also just needed like a bit of a shower, just like arrive. And been very excited to have this little chat with you. You have been on here before, and you have been on the podcast before. And now you're on the Aligned Living platform as well. So I just wanted to share before we go into anything else. Can I share the little story about our weird little thread of of how that came together?
Yes, I was thinking before, I was like, I wonder if we're gonna have time to talk about our little story. So yeah, I'll definitely share it. I think it's so cool.
I think it's like one of the coolest things in the world. And I'm someone, I don't believe in coincidences. So I'm going to try this. Long story short, but you all know me, and that's almost impossible. So I'm going to try my best. But basically, I joined in on the Empress Entrepreneur course last year. And so did Ella. Ella's done it before, and so she was doing her second round, but also kind of like supporting and mentoring on the course. And we had done kind of like 2 or 3 months, I think maybe 2 months into the course. This started in April, May last year. And as we kind of gotten into it, I had had gone through so much already in the course that one of the things that I realized that the business really needs is help. I needed help. And that's what led me to find Josie, who most of you who are on my platform know Josie Thorne. She's an amazing, incredible designer. She's also does womb healing work and so much more. And she really stepped in to, I think when she arrived in my business, she was like, Kathleen, I actually can't believe that you are running anything that is even remotely successful right now because you do not have one system in place. There ain't no folders, there ain't no organization, there's flipping nothing. And one of the big things that needed to happen was we needed to change the URL of the website. Excuse me. I need to slow down. We needed to change the URL from Kathleen Boyce Yoga to aligned living. And why this was so significant was because this was the shift from my business being like, this is almost like a me thing, to this is now a collective thing. And really where the energy of it is, well, where I want the energy to go. And so Googled, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to try my luck, and I'm going to see if, like, I knew alignedliving.com was not available. So I was like, I'm going to try my luck, like, alignedliving.co.za. Here it is, available. You can purchase it. And I was like, no, man, this must be a scam website. This URL has to be taken. Like, I don't know how this happens. Anyways, I go on one of the business calls, one of our group coaching calls, I think it was, and I sent a message in our Slack groups, and I was like, guys or ladies, like, I just want to like tell you I'm super excited. Like, I officially have alignedliving.co.za as the URL, and anyone who's like a entrepreneur on this call knows like how excited one can get about stupid things about URLs. It's like, it's big things actually. And then, et voila, the secret to the story is Miss Ella was the owner of alignedliving.co.za and had actually released it a couple months before, or a couple weeks before we went onto the course and it came up for renewal. And she had released the URL of alignedliving.co.za, which I then purchased, which I now have, which she is now on. And it just like blows my mind in the best way possible. It like, the generator in me just goes like, light up, light up, light up, light up. And I think like, hence like Ella being the first contributor on Aligned Living, it's so fitting. I've done private sessions with Ella. I've done coaching with Ella, which also led from the business course, which really, really changed my life personally. And so I just wanted to share that fun little fact that it's just so interesting how you can be so intertwined with someone. And so, Ella, I'm going to shush for a moment. And I would love for you to maybe share a little bit about, oh, thanks, Zeet. Zeet says, what a lovely little story. It really is, Zeetsy. It like really makes my heart warm. And so, Ella, if you will do, I think a lot of people already know who you are, maybe a little intro and anything else you want to sprinkle in about that story, and then we can take it from there.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. Yeah, I was smiling the whole time because it was just, I was thinking about like being the first contributor to the space. It's very aligned, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, yeah, so for those who don't know me, I'm Ella Gregg, and I am a women's circle facilitator and cyclical coach. And so, yeah, I really just got into this space through actually being really nourished on the receiving end in women's circles and women's spaces. And it was a very deep support for me moving through a huge grief process when I lost my dad about 3 years ago, and very unexpectedly. And yeah, this whole aspect of cyclicality just started to come more and more and more to the forefront of my living and became a huge anchor. And the more I started to attune to my menstrual cycle and the cycles outside in nature and the lunar cycles and all of this, it was like this incredible portal just opening and opening and opening of what is possible when we can actually simplify and come back to the basics of the body. And from there, it's just like this never-ending, mysterious, magical path that opens up. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. And I guess I could speak to a little bit about the the sessions on the membership platform. So I created those to really support women with connecting to the different archetypes of the four inner seasons of the menstrual cycle. So we have the four different sort of hormonal phases of the whole cycle. But my work is really specifically focused on the archetypes that allows us to explore, the different feminine archetypes and the different themes that I've become attuned to that I feel are really strongly associated with each phase. And so those videos are like a little bit of a deep dive into exploring all the sort of facets of each phase, and also understanding how they all work together. And it's just, I mean, look, I can talk about it all day, every day. And so that's what is in there. And it's like, so good. And I really hope that it can serve you all and really light you up to, yeah, to just open to the bliss of being in connection with your body and understand.
Oh, wait. Wait, you paused for a moment. Was someone calling you?
No, it was the Instagram timing thing, when it says like, because I have a timer for my social media that I never use and I just keep ignoring all the time. So that's what that was, me
Was
going,
it like it's time to get off your social media?
anyways. But yeah, it's just my passionate offering to women as like the first entry point into exploring this, because it's honestly a lifelong journey, because your body's always with you, and so it's something you can always peel layers back and go deeper and deeper and deeper into. Yeah, so that's my spiel for now.
Mm. Thanks, babe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to be bringing you on to the platform, to the community, because the more I get into this work, the more I really realize how pertinent it is to our well-being. And I was having this conversation the other night, I can't remember when or with who or how, but I was saying like how, like there's these crazes and phases that happen where like all of a sudden everything's gut health. Like I'm always gut health before Sus. Everything's about the gut health. Like, are you drinking your kombucha? Are you eating your sauerkraut? Like everything's gut health. And like the next thing is like everything is like brain health, or the next thing is everything's nervous system health, or whatever it is. And I'm like, when does female health come into this equation, where we go, this is actually really important. Like I had this like conversation with myself in my head the other day, where I had my bleed last week, and I was like, okay, so if I was bleeding through my nose, would I still just continue to do everything that I know that needs to get done? If I was bleeding through my ears, would I still be just doing everything that needs to get done? And like the answer is like absolutely fucking not. Like you'd be like, okay, but obviously like that's not a natural place to bleed. So like there's something wrong, okay? But just saying that like there is a process in place where it's massive. And it's not just the bleed. And you'll know this. Like, it's not just the bleed that is the like, okay, I'm going to focus on these 7 days. I've had my bleed. And then I'm just going to forget about it until I have my next bleed. And then it's probably going to annoy me because it's like going to inconvenience me because I actually like wanted to go do this or do this. And I can't do this and can't do that. And that has been like a programming that has been put on us from like very, very young. Like I know we've spoken about this, you and I in depth, like where like I have blocked out my first periods. Like I've completely blocked them out. Like I know a lot of women really remember them, and for a lot of women they had like really like it was really traumatizing for them. I don't even remember it. And I feel like that could have been such a big initiation moment for me in my life, where I could have like really stepped into like, oh, and I actually had goosebumps thinking about it now. So like I give that to myself now. But I would love a little bit of your feedback on that. And I know, like, I'm only in on the menstrual cycle itself now, and I do want women to know that even if you're not bleeding, even if you're on contraceptives, even if you're in menopause, perimenopause, maybe even premenstrual, and you're listening to this, you are still within the cyclical nature of being a woman. And a bleed is, yes, a very big part of it. That's kind of like the natural process. But even if you're not having a bleed, you are still very much part of the cyclical nature of it all. And so I just love, I know this isn't going to be a super long live because you and I will chat forever. But this is really something that I want to be at the forefront of this platform, is that it is important to acknowledge that you are a woman. And there is so many hard things that come with that, but there are so many beautiful things that come with that. And you have taught me so much of that. So I'd love for you to just share anything that you feel called to share around around all of that.
Where should I start? um, yeah, I think there's a motorbike coming past. I'm just gonna pause. Okay, there we go. Yeah, wowsies. There is a whole plethora that one can dive into. But one thing I wanted to say, just when you were speaking to the aspect of our bleed time, this time for rest and like our inner winter, our like rejuvenation time, replenishment. Um, and something I just thought of that yesterday I made a decision based on my cycle. And this is just something quite nice to share here because, this is a very practical thing. Your cycle can be the basis through how you live your life in all areas of your life. And it's a navigational, it helps you make decisions. So just one thing to note on that before maybe I speak to some of the other things you brought up is, yeah, I had an opportunity to do some work on a day in the future in April around something, and I was feeling into it. I checked my cycle to see when an estimate of when I'd start bleeding, and it looked like I'd start bleeding on the day, if not the day before or the day after, so right around that peak premenstrual or actual menstrual phase. And I felt into it and everything, and it was like a long hour, many hour day of work and everything, and I just felt, and I was like, no, it's not going to work for me. And there was that part of me that goes, well, say, what about the money, or what about the you just turning something down, or maybe you actually do need it. And part of my commitment to my work, teaching or supporting or guiding this, is really embodying it in my own life. So applying it to these micro things and big decisions as well. And I just wanted to bring that in because there's this relief that floods in from my body when she's like, thank you. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you for honoring this space. Because I know that if I made that decision and I have to show up and do 10 hours of work, I would feel terrible. And I knew that in hindsight because I have this understanding and attunement to these different phases. So just having that as an example is something just to share. Like, this is something that becomes very practical in your day to day and is very supportive in making decisions and getting clarity. And yeah, in so many different ways. But yeah, it's such a beautiful point you brought up around all women have access to this feminine nature, their true nature, the cyclical nature. So whether you are currently on a hormonal contraception or, menopause, or you don't have your cycle right now due to imbalances, you still inherently, your bodily wisdom understands that nature. And there are so many ways you can also work with this. If you don't have your current cycle, you can work with the lunar cycles, right? So that's something to know as well. You can track the lunar cycles because it's got the exact same energetics as the menstrual cycle, which also just highlights our complete connectivity with nature. And what it really highlights is that the feminine is cyclical in her nature. So Mother Nature, the body, the moon, you know, the life force, the breath we breathe in and out, it's all in a cycle of death, rebirth constantly. And so when we are walking around expecting ourselves to be, you know, like a biological man, it's rough. It's fucking rough, because we're essentially expecting ourselves to show up in complete rejection of our nature. And that shows up in so many different ways, but it takes a huge strain on, I'd say, also our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, and on deeper levels, our spiritual well-being, not to mention, of course, our physicality. Because yeah, there's this yearning and this understanding of the body, and she knows how to support us, and she's always available to us. And this work helps us start to open to her, because she's always there for us. She's always speaking to us in every single moment. And she always has like this whole treasure chest of feedback, of information, of intuition. And what this work helps us do, it anchors us into being receptive to her wisdom. So that's really the baseline of what we're doing in exploring the menstrual cycle, exploring the seasons, exploring cyclicality, is that we're anchoring into a very direct connection with our wisdom. And I think maybe that's something I could just leave there for you to take home today, just as a nugget or an inspiration, right, of what is possible when you do this work, is that everything opens up. It's, you simplify, and in that it opens up a lot more doors. And yeah.
Thank you, babes. It really is. There is like this ability to soften. And what I have found interesting, because I'm like super hard on myself. I'm also super critical on myself. I'm like, I would rather, I've like almost been like programmed like since I was little, and not necessarily by anyone, maybe just, you know, combination of things, but like I would first call myself lazy before I say I have burnout, or before I say I'm exhausted. So if I'm feeling like I can't do something and I'm tired and I like almost feel like, oh, I just want to sleep, I revert to like, oh, you're being lazy. Like, where's your motivation? Like, maybe if you get up and do a workout and go, you'll feel better, and you'll be able to achieve more, and you'll be able to tick off the boxes, and you'll be able to like do your things. And with that in mind as well, with my bipolar journey, I had like severe anxiety, and I wouldn't say severe depression at 1 or 2 points, but to the point where when I was feeling a lot, my go-to was sleep. Because A, if you sleep, you're going to feel a little bit better when you wake up, obviously, but also B, it's like like an escapism, and it's a moment to just go like, I can't deal with this, I'm just going to sleep. And so through all of that, my relationship with rest, with sleep, with nourishment, with receiving, with slowing down, with moving slowly, has all become so complicated, because there's this other, like you say, that like that biological man clock that we've been told to work on, where like every day is word wakker. Like I was speaking about this in a podcast the other day, where it was like, I was like, since you're a little kid, right? Since you're like, how old are you when you go to like primary school, whatever, like 6 years old, 7 years old, even like preschool, your parents like, get up, brush your teeth, go get your bag, grab your lunch, get in the car, dropping you off at school, I'm picking you up at 2. After 2, you're going to hockey. After hockey, you've got singing. After this, you've got this. And like, this is not a criticism, it's just an observation, because I know this is how I grew up. Like, I've been on a schedule. Okay, I homeschooled for very long, and I had no schedule, which was amazing, which I'm like, you tap more into that. But my mom's a ballet teacher, my dad's a musician, and they're both perfectionists, so definitely got some of that from them. But just to like bring it all together, to me, I know one of the big things I've taken from the work that you teach is allow yourself to be.
Mm.
because you are. You are who you are, where you are in this current moment. Like, that is the reality of it. Like, tapping into the reality of things and going, like, actually, because I know you always say, like, if you're going to spend alone time with yourself, if you're going to really recharge, like, don't do alone time. And you can do this as well, but like, maybe do alone time without reading a book, without doing an activity, without doing anything. Like, just lie in your bed. And I know you do this a lot. Like, just lie in your bed and just be with yourself and take a
Mm.
few moments. And like, genuinely, I did an hour-long restorative practice yesterday in preparation for the Monday night class, which I teach every Monday for the Aligned Living platform. And I generally I practice what I teach. I try to practice what I preach. But yesterday I literally did a practice where I did a 20-minute shavasana, and it was so hard because my brain was like, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do that, gotta do that, gotta do that, gotta do that. And so when we attune into the cycle, whether it is the menstrual cycle, whether it is the lunar cycle, whether it is just finding some kind of cycle where you really look and realize that, look at the tree outside your window. It's always changing. Like, it always looks different. The way we're in the middle of the season changes, aren't we like almost like on an equinox right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. Right. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I mean, yeah, obviously we're transitioning into autumn, which is
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. And so like we oh yeah. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. is equinox. Um, yeah. Yeah. I know this. I'm not going to toot my own flute. I actually know this because, well, Tribe is coming up, and Tribe is always held close to equinox. But also, I was supposed to have a podcast recording with a woman today, and we planned this quite a few weeks in advance. And she messaged today, and she's um, like, I'll do it, but I'm not feeling it. Like, I feel like next month is when it's going to work. And I was like, cool,
Mm.
cool. Like, let's not force it. Let's do it next month. And so, yeah, I'm so grateful to you because you have given me, I think, so much more than you even know. You know, I love you to bits. And the sessions that you have uploaded are amazing. And like you say, like these practical tools that people can use. I know you are about to spread your little wings and do a little bit of journeying. Is there anything you want to share about that a little bit before we say goodbye?
Yeah. Um, and also just to say, when you're speaking, there's so many things that like click into my awareness.
Welcome to Reflect.
So talk on that. And I would love to say one little piece on rest, just because you're speaking to that. Um, Gosh, all the women that come into my space to work with me and everything, one of the main things is that challenged relationship or conflicted relationship with rest, and with slowing down the pace. And that's kind of the core essence of my work, is slowing down the pace. Um, and just, yeah, as you said, like this, when we're attuned to a cycle, what it helps us do on a very visceral level is it kind of, especially for those of us who, I'd say almost all of us, have this deep conditioning around productivity and worth attached to what we produce and all that bullshit, just to say it for. Um, but but what the cycle does is it has the different seasons, so it helps us understand that we need every single part to create the whole. It's like every single emotional experience we have inside of us to bring us deeply alive, or yeah, all these different phases we move through in life, from child to teenager to young adult to mother to, like there's all these phases that support us in the whole experience of something. And so if we're, looking at our relationship with rest, it's something that everyone's like, yeah, sure, it would be great to slow down, but how? Like, how do I do that when I'm addicted to running? I'm literally addicted to burning out because it's the only thing I know, right? Because my cycle was never on it, because that initiatory point when I started my bleed, or, came into this world, was, ignored, dismissed, shamed, whatever the situation is, because that's the general theme. And this is why now, as an adult or as a mother or whatever it is, a sister, we get to re-script the narrative and start to bring ourselves into initiation. So our cycle naturally initiates us into an experience that feels more relaxed, an experience that feels more whole, an experience that opens us up to life and the magic of everything. And so, yeah, when we attune to these different seasons, especially the inner autumn and winter, regarding rest, it helps us understand our relationship with rest, how we can navigate it, how we can practically slow down, and then how we can also then fully expand and open and create, because we have roots, because we're actually have nutrients. Because if you don't have roots, you're just going to blow away, right? So when the spring winds come, bye bye. It's like you don't have anything to ground. And so, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Like, it's a very practical, engaging way to start to really inquire basically into our relationship with rest, creativity, and all the different themes associated. Yeah, and then I haven't, yeah, I think I'll speak just briefly on it now. Obviously, not everyone knows, but I am going to be going traveling um, for about 3 months overseas pretty soon. And so, yeah, that's a huge new shift and expansion for me, and unknown as well. And I will say that my cycle is really supporting me in grounding. And I know that also when I go traveling, it's going to be a huge part of how I also navigate choices and and when I decide to do certain things. And that excites me to actually take this wisdom now and travel deeply with that, because I haven't been really traveling when I was so attuned to my cycle. So I'm quite excited to explore that energy and see how I can really use that, and then see, yeah, the different insights that come from that. So it's very exciting.
So exciting, babe. So, so, so exciting. And I'm just, yeah, if anyone deserves adventure and exploration and anything, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just excited to see how it's going to take you and your work and your knowledge and your sharings and your connection to like absolute new levels. I can imagine, but I probably can't imagine because we can never imagine these things. But thank you so much for being a part of this journey, my journey, the aligned living journey. And yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more of you on the platform. So for those of you who are keen to find out more about what Ella does, you can sign up to the website. You can either just do on-demand library if you're not able to do live sessions, or the full access, which includes live sessions as well. And give Ella a little follow on Insta. Go give her a little stalky stalk. We give you full permission to do a nice little profile stalk there. Go check out her reels. Leave a few likes and comments. Don't be super weird, but like you can be weird and you can stalk. Go check it out. And thanks for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us, please. I say this on the podcast all the time as well. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So if you have like no idea what we were talking about today, we especially want to chat to you. You're like, especially who we want to chat to. If you want to know more or whatever it is, leave a comment. Thank you for being here. Ella, I love you, love you, love you, love you. And thank you so much for your time. And you're off to a class now.
I'm going to a soft acrobatics class.
Okay. Mean. I hope to see something on your story about that, please.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. It's a new thing
That's
for me, so
amazing. That's super exciting. Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
but out if you have any questions. I'm obsessed with connecting with people. I like to chat and I'm very approachable. So feel free to DM me. And yeah, if you watch the library, the videos in the Aligned Living platform, also reach out to me. Give me any insights or questions or curiosities. I'm so open for it, and yeah, would love to feel the feedback and the energy.
Mm, amazing. Oh, and then last but not least, DM me for a little discount code if you're keen.
Yeah.
Voila. Yeah. Lots of love, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. And I need to go check that my dogs have not destroyed the house in the meanwhile while I've been here. Have a beautiful night, everyone. Lots of love. Bye.